I have a serious question for you. Does your brain ever feel like a web browser with about 500 tabs open?
Yeah.
Half of them are frozen. There's like music playing from a tab you can't find, and the fan on your laptop is just screaming for help.
That is painfully accurate. And usually the tab playing the music is an ad for something you don't even want.
Exactly. It just feels like we're living in this absolute fire hose of information. You know, you check your phone and it's celebrity drama, then it's
Oh.
political outrage, then a cat video, then a market crash.
Mhm.
It leaves you feeling incredibly busy and maybe even informed in a trivia sense, but I don't know if it actually leaves you feeling any wiser.
It's the universal condition right now. We're just drowning in data but starving for insight.
Yeah.
It's the sugar rush of the information diet.
A sugar rush, yeah.
You can seem a lot of calories, but it's mostly empty noise. You feel
Yeah.
full, but you're malnourished.
So the mission for this deep dive is to fix that. We want to stop just letting this wave of headlines crash over us and actually learn how to surf it. We want to move from being passive consumers to active curators. And to do that, you brought a really interesting framework to the table today. It's got a catchy name, too.
It does. It's called the VAP framework. VAP. It's a mental model designed to help you filter out the noise and find the signal. It's actually rooted in Tamil etymology, which I think gives it this really beautiful, layered meaning.
Oh, interesting.
It's not just some corporate acronym. It's more of a philosophy of knowledge.
Okay, let's unpack this. VAP. What are we looking at here?
So the first step is Viri. In Tamil, this means spread. Think of it like a fisherman casting a very wide net.
Okay.
You aren't looking for a specific fish just yet. You're just looking at the whole ocean of events. This is where you catch the raw event, the signal amidst the noise. It's about spotting the what without all the spin.
So, Viri, it's not just like doom scrolling then.
No, that's the key difference. Doom scrolling is passive drowning. Viri is active scanning.
Active scan.
You're scanning the horizon, looking for disturbances in the water that actually matter.
Got it. Okay, so we've cast the net, then we have the A.
Ari, this means no. And this is where you haul the net in and see what you've actually got.
Right.
You dig into the background, the context, the data. You move past the headline and get into the mechanics of the story. This is the part most people skip because, it takes effort.
And finally, the P.
Puri. This means understand. And this is the most critical step. This is the so what.
The so what.
It's translating that event and that context into a meaningful implication for your life. It's the difference between knowing a fact, like it's raining, and understanding the implication, I need an umbrella or I'll get sick.
I really like that progression. Spread, know, understand, Viri-Ari-Puri. And the notes mention this analogy of being a fisher versus a scavenger.
That's the mindset shift. Most people consume news like they're scavenging for scraps that other people have dropped.
Yeah, just reacting.
They react to what trends. But this framework, it turns you into the fisher.
Yeah.
You aren't chasing the frantic 7-day news cycle. You know where the deep currents run. You're patient. You're waiting for that high signal catch.
And when you pull something up, it's substantial.
Exactly.
Well, we have cast our net for this deep dive, and we have hauled in 3 very specific, very substantial catches from February 2026. They've got a macro catch, a system catch, and a micro catch. We are talking about a return to the moon, a massive shift in the AI workforce, and a biological reset button for the human brain. 3
perfect examples to apply the framework, and if you squint, you'll see they all tell a similar story about where humanity is going.
Let's start with the macro catch. We're looking at Artemis II. Now, if you're just scrolling social media, you might have seen a photo of a rocket and a headline about a delay. That's the Viri, right? Raw event.
That's it.
NASA's Artemis II mission is staged for launch.
Right. And let's be specific on the raw facts here. This is the first crewed mission to leave low Earth orbit since Apollo 17. 1972. We are talking about over half a century since a human being has been that far out. Now, yes, there was a hiccup. It was eyeing a February launch, but a dress rehearsal revealed a liquid hydrogen leak.
Liquid hydrogen leaks, they seem to be the bane of NASA's existence.
Oh, it's the trickiest fuel in the world. It's incredibly cold. The molecules are just tiny. They slip through everything. But the delay to a no earlier than date of March 6th, 2026 is actually a good sign. It means they aren't rushing.
That's true. But the hardware is there. There was that incredible shot on February 1st of the rocket silhouetted against the snow moon. Just visually, that is a statement.
It really is.
But let's move to RE, the context, because I think people see moon mission and they just think, okay, we're doing Apollo again, but this isn't a remake, is it?
Not at all.
Yeah.
And that's where the context is so vital. If you look at the crew, the story changes immediately. The Apollo era was amazing, but it was, well, it was uniform.
Right. White, male, American test pilots.
Exactly. This crew, you have Reed Wiseman as commander. You have Victor Glover, the pilot, who will be the first black astronaut to travel to the moon.
Right.
You have Christina Koch, a mission specialist.
Who is already a legend in her own right.
Absolutely. The first woman to go beyond low Earth orbit, and she already holds the record for the longest single space flight by a woman.
Incredible.
And then you have Jeremy Hansen, the mission specialist from the Canadian Space Agency.
A Canadian going to the moon.
The first non-American to venture this far. That represents a huge shift in the geopolitical context of space.
Yeah.
It's not just one nation's race anymore, it's a coalition.
Yeah.
But the context goes deeper than just the people. Look at the flight path.
Yeah, talk to me about this figure eight, because they aren't landing right. They're doing a sort of loop-de-loop.
It's a figure-8 free return trajectory. It's a 10-day mission. They're going to sling themselves around the moon. But here is the record-breaking part.
Okay.
They are traveling 6,400 miles beyond the far side of the moon.
6,400 miles past the far side, so they are going into the deep dark.
They are going further into the void than any human has ever gone. The previous record was Apollo 13, but that was an emergency maneuver.
Right, an accident.
This is intentional.
Yeah.
And just, think about the visual. The notes mention that from where they'll be, the moon will look about the size of a basketball, held at arm's length.
I'm trying to picture that. A basketball-sized moon. That means Earth is just a tiny, tiny speck in the background. That has to change you psychologically.
Oh, completely.
You are truly alone out there.
It's the ultimate perspective shift. But this brings us to the Puri, the understanding. Why does this matter? Why go all that way into the deep void just to loop around and come home?
Yeah, if we aren't planting a flag and we aren't collecting rocks, is it just a publicity stunt?
No. No, think of it this way. Apollo was a sprint. Get there, touch it, get back, win the race against the Soviets. Artemis is totally different.
Okay.
Artemis is a property inspection.
A property inspection. I like that.
It's a shakedown cruise. They aren't there to grab souvenirs. They are there to stress test the life support systems. They need to know if the plumbing works for deep space survival.
Right.
You don't buy a house without checking the pipes, and you don't build a permanent moon base, which is the goal of Artemis III and IV, without testing the life support on a long-duration loop.
So the implication, the Puri, is that we are done with the visit phase of humanity.
Exactly.
Oh,
This is the bridge to residency. We are testing the CO2 scrubbers, the waste management, the radiation shielding. We are validating the systems that will keep people alive on another world.
wow.
It's a shift from 20th century exploration to 21st century civilization expansion. That is the signal hidden in the launch delay headlines.
That is a massive signal. It shifts the narrative from cool rocket launch to humanity's moving out.
That's it.
Okay, speaking of expansion, let's bring it back down to Earth, or at least to the servers running the Earth. Segment 2, the system catch. This one is about artificial intelligence.
This is where the landscape of work changes.
The Viri event here is a pivot in the tech sector that became really aggressive in early 2026. We are seeing a move from generative AI to agentic AI.
This is the buzzword of the quarter, but it's real. The raw fact is the industry is changing its product line. For the last few years, we've been obsessed with AI that talks.
Chatbots, yeah.
Chatbots generating images, writing poems. The shift now is to AI that does.
Okay, Ari, let's get into the context. Because agent sounds like James Bond, but I suspect it's more like a spreadsheet macro. What is the actual definition here?
Well, it's a huge leap from a spam filter. Think of the difference between an intern who sits there and waits for you to give them a specific command for every single click versus a seasoned employee who knows the goal and figures out how to get there. Generative AI needs handholding. You prompt it, it answers. Agents are autonomous. They can plan, they can monitor their own progress, they can execute complex workflows without you watching.
Give me a concrete example.
Okay, take supply chain management. A generative AI can tell you shipping prices are up. An agentic AI can notice that shipping prices are up, identify a cheaper carrier, negotiate the rate, update the contract, and notify the warehouse, all while you're asleep.
That sounds incredibly useful, but also a little chaotic. The notes mention something called agent sprawl.
And that's the dark side of the context. We are seeing a paradox.
Yeah.
Companies are rushing to deploy these agents, and they're creating these messy silos.
Oh, right.
You have a supply chain agent, and a marketing agent, and a legal agent, and none of them talk to each other.
So it's just like a real corporation.
Painfully so. It's increasing technical debt. You have these digital employees running around doing tasks, but no one knows who is coordinating them. It creates a fractured system.
And yet, despite the chaos, the money is pouring in.
74% of executives are seeing ROI within the first year. That is a staggering number for new tech. It works, even if it's messy.
There was this example in the notes of the orchestrator model used by a U.S. mortgage servicer. This seemed to solve the messiness.
This is fascinating. They didn't just hire one AI. They built an orchestrator agent. Its only job is to manage the other specialist agents.
So you have AI middle management.
Essentially, yes. The orchestrator says, okay, document agent, you analyze the tax forms. Data agent, you pull the credit report. It coordinates the entire workflow.
Which leads us to the Puri, the understanding. If AI is managing AI, where on earth do we fit in? Are we just obsolete?
No, but our role is fundamentally shifting. We are witnessing the birth of the digital employee. The implication for you, the listener, is that we are moving from humans in the loop to humans on the loop.
Humans on the loop. Unpack that difference for me.
In the loop means you are part of the machinery. You have to click approve or send or fix the draft.
Right, doing the task.
On the loop means you are the supervisor. You are watching the dashboard. You are setting the goals and the constraints. The new challenge isn't doing the work. It's orchestrating the fleet of agents that are doing the work.
So if I'm a knowledge worker in 2026, I shouldn't be focusing on how fast I can type or how well I can code. I should be focusing on how well I can manage a team of digital workers.
Precisely. You aren't a writer. You're the editor-in-chief of a writing swarm. You aren't a coder. You're the product manager of a coding fleet.
Wow.
That is a massive skill set shift that most people aren't ready for.
That is slightly terrifying, but also incredibly empowering if you know how to use it. It's leverage.
It's massive leverage.
Yep.
But you have to be ready to let go of doing the thing and start managing the system.
Okay, so we've looked at expanding our physical reach to the moon and expanding our workforce with AI. Now let's look at expanding the timeline of the human mind itself. Segment 3, the microcatch.
This one's my favorite because it hits so close to home.
The Viri event. Researchers at NUS Medicine, that's the National University of Singapore, published a breakthrough paper on February 12, 2026.
Right.
They have identified a specific protein called DMTF1.
DMTF1. It doesn't exactly roll off the tongue, but you're going to want to remember it.
And the headline claim is that it drives brain regeneration. Now, we hear about anti-aging breakthroughs all the time. Usually it's some billionaire injecting blood or taking 50 supplements. Why is this Viri event different?
Because of the mechanism. That brings us to the the biology context. To understand this, you have to understand why brains age. We have these things called neural stem cells.
Okay.
They're the factories that churn out new brain cells.
The manufacturing plant.
Right. But as we get older, our telomeres, the protective caps on our chromosomes, they erode. And when that happens, the factory shuts down. The stem cells enter a state called senescence. They stop dividing. The lights go off.
So the factory is still there, the machinery is there, but the workers have gone on strike.
That's a great way to put it. The common belief was that the machinery was broken, that the DNA was damaged beyond repair. But what these researchers found is that in aged brains, the levels of this specific protein, DMTF1, drop significantly. It's like the factory ran out of a specific type of fuel.
But they found a way to refill the tank.
They did.
Yeah.
By restoring DMTF1, they effectively turned back the clock on these cells. But here's the really cool, detailed context that I love. DMTF1 isn't working alone. It's like a foreman.
Okay.
It controls helper genes, specifically 2 genes called ARID2 and SS18.
ARID2 and SS18, they sound like droids.
They kind of act like a demolition crew. You see, inside the cell, DNA is tightly packed. It's like a closed reference book with pages glued together.
Okay.
You can't read the instructions on how to build a neuron because the book is shut. ARID2 and SS18 physically open up the DNA structure.
They pry the book open.
Exactly. They increase chromatin accessibility. They open the book so the cell can read the instructions again. Without DMTF1, those helpers stay asleep, the book stays closed, and the brain ages.
But with DMTF1.
With DMTF1, the book opens and regeneration restarts.
That is incredible. It's not just boosting the brain, it's mechanically unlocking the repair manual. So, Puri, what is the understanding here? Why is this the signal?
Because it changes the paradigm of what aging is. We used to view brain decline, neurodegeneration, as a one-way street. We thought it was entropy. Things break down, game over.
Right. You can slow it down with crossword puzzles and blueberries, but you can't stop it.
This research suggests that neurodegeneration is a toggleable mechanism.
A toggle, like a light switch.
Yes. It implies that the capacity for youth is still sitting there inside your old cells, just waiting for the right signal. It's a molecular refresh button.
Wow.
This moves medicine from the era of managing decline, palliative care, slowing things down, to potentially reversing it.
So we aren't just treating the symptoms of Alzheimer's or dementia. We're talking about restarting the engine that fixes the damage.
It's early days. This is in mice and lab dishes. But the biological principle is sound. It redefines aging from a breakage to a power failure. And power failures can be fixed.
So let's zoom out. We've got these three catches: Artemis, Agentic AI, and DMTF1. What happens when we put them all together? Do you see a golden thread here?
I do.
Yeah.
And I think the thread is expansion. Look at the trajectory.
Okay.
On the macro scale, with Artemis, we are moving from visiting space to inhabiting it. We are expanding the physical domain of the human species. On the system scale, with Agentic AI, we are expanding the cognitive capacity of our workforce. We are multiplying our ability to get things done by hiring digital employees.
And on the micro scale?
On the micro scale, with DMTF1, we are looking at extending the timeline of the human mind itself. We're expanding the duration of our competence.
It's all about breaking limits.
Yeah.
The limit of gravity, the limit of human attention span, and the limit of biological age.
Exactly. And notice what we didn't talk about.
What's that?
We didn't talk about the $51 billion Bitcoin typo.
Oh, right. I saw that in the notes. Some poor soul at an exchange typed the wrong unit and accidentally sent out billions.
A classic fat finger error. It was all over the news feeds this week. People were panicking, laughing, making memes. It was the loudest story of the week.
But it was noise.
It was pure noise. It was a mistake that got fixed. It didn't change the trajectory of humanity. It didn't change how we live or work. It was just drama.
Right.
And while the rest of the world was distracted by that typo, Artemis was prepping the plumbing for the moon, AI was learning to run companies, and scientists were figuring out how to regrow brain cells.
That is the power of the VAP framework right there. If you had just read the headlines, you would have known about the Bitcoin error and felt smart at a dinner party. But because we cast the net, because we did the Viri-Ari-Puri, we actually understand the future a little bit better today.
And that's the goal. It's not about being the first to know the gossip. It's about being the one who understands the undercurrents.
So, listener, here's your challenge for tomorrow. When you open your phone or you turn on the news, try to apply this. Don't just let the information hit you. Be the fisher.
Yeah.
Ask yourself, what is the raw event? What is the context? And most importantly, Puri, why does this matter?
Don't just pick up scraps from the trawlers. The signal is there if you filter the noise.
As you go about your day, ask yourself, did I catch this story in my net, or am I just getting caught in someone else's? Thanks for taking the deep dive with us today.
See you in the deep currents.